All right, it says it's recording,
All right, cool.
but it has that little three dots, so I'm a little bit worried.
It didn't tell me it's recording. Maybe it's a set.
Maybe you're not recording.
Usually,
Maybe just I am. You know what I mean?
uh, I don't know if it's a setting or something, but my teachers usually when they record class sessions, it says the session is now recording. So press continue if you um
Yeah.
consent. I didn't get that pop.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
it says recording now.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's just taking a while, dude. I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and do this now. Do you still consent to all the terms of the consent and release form I sent you in the email?
Of course, yes, sir.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and do this, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good. I don't usually do video, but since I'm having technical difficulties, we're going with video, man. I didn't put my makeup on today, though.
I just woke up like half an hour ago. It's okay.
We're warriors, man. We'll just go. We're podcast warriors.
Aye, aye.
So give me a second. Let me go ahead and introduce you. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show, to my podcast, Blanco's Conversations. I have a friend of mine coming on as my guest. His name is Nareg. Maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong. Hope not. But I met him at community college a while back. We were taking a creative writing class, and he just caught my eye, caught my attention. And then we became friends. We started, talking how people do nowadays, texting or whatever you call that on Facebook. And he invited me to a thing he was doing at his old high school. Can you start with that? Can you tell everyone about what was going on that day when you invited me to what was it, like a filming of your work?
Oh yes, my film premiere.
Yeah.
So I had recently finished making a movie with my friends. It was a black and white silent film. It was the one about Frankenstein, right?
It was several ones. You showed a few, and then you were building up to the one that you had just
Oh, okay, yeah,
released.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was the third installment in this like
Okay.
kind of trilogy I was making about silent monster movies. And yeah, my film professor from high school, was kind enough to let us have a premiere in the auditorium. And yeah.
Yeah. So I want to say that I noticed you as a writer in the class. And the thing was, we had an assignment. I think the class was every Tuesday and Thursday. Maybe I'm wrong. But on Tuesday, we met up. The professor gave us an assignment, write blank many words or whatever it was on a certain topic. And, I did my thing. Everyone kind of went around. When I went to your thing, you went into this whole thing about like how you did not know what to write about, but writing about not knowing what to write about, you were hilarious, man.
Oh, thank you.
The writing like was great. Like the comedic element when there was great. And it wasn't just the writing of it, it was the execution, how you executed it. And I said, wow, this guy's not, but I was kind of like, okay. But then when I saw you that day at the high school, what people are not understanding is that it wasn't just sit down in the auditorium and watch what you created. You were sort of up there dressed up in character and you were performing. Can you tell the listeners a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, I thought I may as well, take that opportunity to be on stage and kind of give a performance to bring the film to life while they were also just watching it or before they just watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there with my wife and we were both just like, wow, look at this guy go. You know what I mean? You were definitely in character. You didn't even seem like the same guy from
Really
class.
that you guys were there. It meant a lot that you were able to show up.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us why this particular genre that you're into. Why that?
It was the funniest reason why I started making a Dracula movie. You know that one SpongeBob episode?
Probably not, but tell me about it.
It's like a kind of like horror episode almost, and the whole running gag is that someone's flickering the lights, and at the end it turns out to be 1922 Nosferatu. They just put a picture of him
randomly, right?
And yeah, it just made no sense. What is that thing? So I look it up and okay, this is another term for Dracula, and
Uh-huh.
you know, started researching Dracula, and I thought, you know, it would be the funnest thing ever to make a silent film, and so I just did.
Yeah. So the inspiration was SpongeBob. Sort of, it came from a comedic because SpongeBob is like for kids, but it's all just running gags, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my intent was not to make a funny movie at first. In Nosferatu's Bane, the first installment, I wanted to like emulate 1920s silent films, but because of how I guess the style is, it ended up being hilarious to a lot of people. So I said, I guess I made a comedy.
There you go. What I found interesting, I was a guy that I would watch old movies on PBS with my dad when I was a kid growing up, and my grandma and stuff. And that's what we would watch. We'd watch the old I think it's 1930 something Frankenstein, and then
Yeah.
Frankenstein and Dracula, then Dracula and the Wolfman. Like we had this whole thing that we would watch. They weren't silent films, but they were very, they were old. They were a different thing. So during the time that I met you, that's post Twilight is what I call it. The
Yeah, yeah.
idea of what monsters were has
Modern.
completely changed. They're not terrifying figures anymore. But what you went back to was even before that. And now I know where you got that from SpongeBob. But how did it feel? Because you have this impression, I'm guessing, because you grew up in this era of what these monsters are now, and then you had to go back and see what they sort of started with. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I wouldn't really say I was ever a fan of the modern interpretations. I always really like historical things, and just for fun, I look up really old topics and characters and stories. So I think if I were to do this, that was the only way it could have gone.
Mm. So, but you've done other works too, and I always feel like there's a sort of like a throwback, kind of like what you're saying. So you did like this mafia thing. Tell listeners a little bit about the mafia thing.
Oh, the serialized one.
Yeah.
That was my final piece in high school. It was like an 8 episode kind of series about us portraying ourselves, filming the movie that we are currently playing.
Wait,
Like the
what?
film, filming the film.
Okay, that
But
sounds familiar.
we are high school mafia.
Oh, High School Mafia. Okay.
We kind of like pull the strings around the school.
Yeah. Okay, but that sounds like that's like a film within a film
Yeah,
almost. Right. Where did the
exactly.
idea for that come from?
Um, I don't remember where it came from. It was just one of the things that I was thinking of. I thought about the concept a lot earlier than I had shot it.
Mhm,
Maybe a year before, I was thinking of what will my final film be?
mhm.
And I thought that we have kind of like turned ourselves into icons almost in this school doing all these films and stuff. So I thought it would be funny to interpret or to portray an exaggerated version of our own lives. And at
Mm.
that time, I was getting into Godfather and like Goodfellas and other like Sinatra and just that whole theme of Italian mafia. And I thought,
Yeah.
man, do something like that. So I just kind of merged the ideas together, and it happened.
Yeah. Did it come out? Because I know we've talked about this the other day. Because you don't just do the acting and the directing, you do writing too, and that's
Yeah.
what I do. Uh, the idea of you like you said, you conceptualize something, and then you put it to paper, or in this case, you put it on film.
Mm-hmm.
How does it differ from the concept to the actual end product?
Oh man. So from conception, like a lot of different things can change. The story could end up being totally different from how you originally thought about it because of new ideas that are being added into it and how it's being currently developed constantly. These ideas are just kind of like, a cloud in my head that just keep gathering and gathering until it's finally time to type it up. And even in typing it up, even when I have an idea of who exactly is going to play the character and how they might portray the scene, it's still like I'm thrown on a ride when I see how they actually do it.
Yeah.
It's always different than what you think.
Do you remember specifically what you started with, the concept, and what you ended up with, though? Like how the difference?
In that particular
Yeah, in
film,
that
actually,
particular, yeah.
remember it was supposed to be a movie, not a series, and it was supposed to be about me um losing my mind or something, and in like an alternate universe where I become some kind of arrogant dictator and all my friends have to knock me back into my senses. I thought that.
Okay. Where did that idea come from? Were you being like a arrogant dictator in class or something?
I wouldn't think so, but I feel like I don't know, maybe I I did get let it get to my head a little bit, and I felt like exaggerating that would be kind of a fun thing to explore with.
I was gonna say exploring those things. Yeah, as a
Yeah,
creative person, whenever anything kind of like that kind of comes up, I think you got to explore it. And part of
yeah,
exploring it at times could be exaggerating something. You know, people don't
exactly.
understand that. Yeah, I think that there was a was the movie with Mark Wahlberg. I think it's Lone Survivor about the Navy SEAL team that they all got taken out except for one guy because the premise was that they were in Afghanistan, I believe, somewhere in the hills, and they ran across a small kid. And I think standard operating procedure was you take that kid out. But a lot of the SEALs kind of had like a debate, like, look, we're not going to kill this kid. But like I said, the SOP, the standard operating procedure was if you let that kid live, he's going to go run and tell everybody, and then you guys are going to die, or you're not going to accomplish the mission. So I don't remember exactly how it went. I think they took a vote or something, and they ended up letting the kid live. And the kid did exactly. He went and snitched and said, "Yo, those guys are out there. Go get them." And they ended up killing all of them except for one guy. Yeah, I can't hear you. Is something up with your sound or?
Hello?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I can hear you now. So you heard everything that I said, though, right?
Yeah, I heard everything you said. That's wow, I haven't heard of this movie before.
Check it out. It's really, it's not just like an action movie. I think it's a really good movie. But anyway, what I was getting to was that before that happened, before that main scene that kind of drives the whole movie, they had like a new recruit there, and they made him do this like saying that it was part of their group. And in the saying, he says, "Anything worth doing is worth overdoing." And I remember being like struck by that and going,
Hmm.
huh. And I think I've done that just intrinsically in my life to certain detriments of myself, but to also better understand things. Like I said, like to explore something is to exaggerate it sometimes.
Yeah.
Have you had a lot of experience sort of going overboard with certain things where your friends were like, "Hey dude, maybe you need to toe that down a little bit"?
In terms of like the stories,
Just anything in your life personally. I'm just wondering if this is sort of a trait of creative people.
I think so. Yeah, I think I would pretty much go overboard with everything. I mean, once I latch onto an idea, I just keep working at it until it's a final product.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, Interesting thing I remember finding out about you was what we were talking about. Um, your high school in that class about the film class. Can you tell us the story about that?
Oh, the how the film class came to be.
Yeah, and what it
So,
meant to you too.
oh, yeah, it pretty much meant everything to me because I helped establish it. In ninth grade, when I got to high school, there was no film. I was disappointed that I finally decided what I wanted to do with my life. Yeah, I'm gonna go take the classes, make movies, and that wasn't an option. So I started in cartoon animation, and there was a former film professor who was interested in bringing the class back, and I helped with him to, kind of create like an independent, unofficial kind of class just for me and my friends to do our work. And that eventually got established into a class where a full time teacher was hired and funding was brought into, and other people could take, which was awesome.
Yeah, that's it says something about who you are and your personality. That it's like, okay, and something about creative people too, that or at least successful creative people, that there was nothing there, you made it happen. Um, there's a thing where you make art, and it's a thing where you share art. I think the
Yeah.
making art is a very hard thing. Like a lot of people are kind of like, oh, where do they always ask, where do these ideas come from? Where do you get it? And then you get an idea, you make it. So you had an idea, example, right, to make this class, or that you wanted this class, but you had to put, your feet on the ground and actually make it happen. So same thing with making a film or writing a book. You could do that, and that's hard enough. That's an accomplishment of its own. But to get it out there to people so that people experience it, that's a whole new thing that I'm understanding right now. Like, even with these videos, right? Like, okay, I record something, but that's like, oh, man, I get my wife, man, we got to edit this, we got to edit that. How do you upload it? Oh, we uploaded it, but it came out all messed up. There's this whole other thing.
The recording is not the end of the process. It's the beginning of a whole new phase.
Yeah. Or if you watch, Hollywood, it's the process. That's why when you watch those end credits on a movie, Jesus, that's, if you really took the time out, because most of us don't, right? We just, oh, that was a great movie, we leave, except for the Avenger movies, because you're always waiting for that last little bit of information. Yeah. But if you really took the time out to look at all of that, that's there. Oh, I'm getting another call. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it's a whole process. And I think that a lot of people don't understand it. It's not just creating the art. It's more to it than that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. And I definitely feel like people who aren't in it don't understand. One day I remember in class, we were just on a conversation, and one of my classmates just said, "Oh, directors have the easiest job in the world. All I do is say cut in action." And I was infuriated.
One second, man. I'm sorry about this. This is so unprofessional. Yeah, but I'm sorry. Because I keep getting interrupted. Someone keeps keep calling me. What were you saying?
I said, in class, I remember one time one of my classmates had said that the job of a director is very easy. All they do is say cut and action, and they sit there in their director's chair. And yeah, that pissed me off.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many other things that go into it. Okay, so you go back to, like we said, Hollywood, because I think people understand that the most, right? There's sort of like an echo. Do you hear that?
No, it's fine on my end.
Okay. So there's sort of like the pre-development, right? You get a script. Yeah, you get a script. Oh, we like this script. You got to assign actors to it, right? Then you got to schedule times when you're going to do it, available space, equipment. It's this whole thing. Then you film it, and you got it, and then they edit it and they get it in the can, right? Like they say, you put it in the can. But does it exist? Like, no one's seen it. Then you got this whole, like, advertising it.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're gonna release it. This process just goes on and on. It's just an incredible thing, I think.
I've tried my best, but I don't think I can. I haven't really expanded much beyond friends and family as my audience. But I mean, still, even that, like, that's meant more than the world to me. Because if I didn't have even that, then who would be there to share in all these experiences?
Yeah. Is that a big part of it for you? Because I know it is for me. I know I hear a lot of people saying that even if I didn't get paid, or even if no one read my stuff, I would still do it. I don't know if that's true for me. For me, it's the scariest part, sharing it, but it's also a part that I enjoy. I enjoy hearing people say, like, hey, I really liked what you wrote, or just talking about a specific scene or something. I really enjoy that.
I think while that's true that we definitely have this drive to share our work, it's your passion in the end. And even if you were the last person on earth, I highly doubt you would stop doing what you like doing, simply because of the fact that you enjoy doing it.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's just me. There's an author, I'm gonna mess this up. Harlan Corbin, I believe his name is. And people always ask him, like, do you enjoy writing? Would you do it if you did it? And he always has the great answer. I think it fits me too. he says he doesn't say I enjoy writing. He says I enjoy having written that. So it's like running a marathon. I'm guessing it's excruciating. I never done it. But after you do it, you're kind of like, yes, I did that. I think that's sort of what I'm talking about. The after the process. Well, the actual process of doing it is not always so enjoying.
I think I have a little bit of a different take in that writing a book or making a film or whatever it is, there's such difficult things to do that you would only someone who loves it enough to endure the torture would be able to withstand it.
In some way, you're right. I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
you're right in some way, because there are times that I do enjoy it, but I think the issue that I have with it, especially writing a book, it just takes so long. I
Oh
wish
yeah.
I could just, click my fingers or my ruby red heels and be like, it's done,
Yeah, the coming up with stuff that's sometimes you wish like, come on man, just come up with the idea, just put it down,
Uh-huh.
go forward. But I feel like other phases don't really have those roadblocks. Like
Right.
Filming is just waiting for people to be available, but editing, you could just edit as much as you're awake, I guess. I mean, in my case. But writing, yeah, definitely. I feel that too.
Yeah. Uh it's an awesome thing, man. And I wanted to share you with all my listeners. I definitely want to do this again. We'll get more in depth. I want you to
Of course.
release some stuff, and then we'll get into that a little bit more. Tell people where they can see your work, man.
Oh, my channel is Nareg Productions. You can just find it at youtube.com/Nareg Productions.
You
My
might want
name
to
is,
spell that for them.
yeah, Nareg.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, brother. We'll do this again sometime soon.
Yeah, it's been really fun. I'm glad to see. I look forward to see how it turned out.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah, take care.